Que paso, Fright fans? You got Jaime En Fuego here on a special horror show presentation. Thanks so very much for joining me, and we have one of the biggest things of the entire year happening in the month of June for us. So very exciting. On Friday, June 3rd at the PHOENIX Comic-Con, yours truly, along with Marsha Parker, Cecil Laird, and then two special guests, including CJ Valenzuela and Ashley Mall, are going to be helping us put on something called the Supernatural panel at the PHXCC, baby, and it's going to be super dope for oh so many reasons, because this is a show that's been around for ages at this point, over a decade. It's in the middle of its 11th season, and I am so humbled to have been invited to be a part of this panel, because leading up to this convention, I had never watched Supernatural before. I know La Travestie had always been just on that list of ever-growing things, but as I've got more into movie coverage and music and things like that, it just kind of fell by the wayside. But I love Buffy and various other like kind of procedural monster type shows and stuff, and this is a very interesting melding with Sam and Dean going all over the country fighting various sorts of evil. And so first season I enjoyed, but here I am to the second season, and I'm basically covering every season, watching from the beginning all the way through season 11 leading up to this panel, man. I am loving it so far, especially here in the second season. While the first one was good, the second one really just cranked it up to 11, and my Spinal Tap reference is key because a song from Spinal Tap actually showed up in this season. Tell you, man, it blew my mind. It made me jump up and cheer. There were various jump up and cheer moments in this second season, and that's because they made the music better. They developed just the entire mythos of this world so much more so. The chemistry between the brothers was cranked up. I mean, everything was more interesting than in the first season, which, while I enjoyed, I mean, episodes about the shapeshifter and, you know, just finally reuniting with the dad and the plight that they were on was really, really cool, but nonetheless, I felt like it was kind of finding its footing, so to speak. But in the second season, everything is falling into place. First and foremost, you have the great addition of so much more music, man. I'm telling you, it opens up with Stranglehold by Ted Nugent, and it just never lets up throughout the entirety of it. The music is amazing, and I feel like with more success, perhaps, they were able to toss some more music in there of a noteworthy nature. I mean, there was some in the first season, but we're talking just about every major recognizable tune in the second season is something that you've heard before, whether it's Soundgarden or, you know, whatever it may be. Kansas, because we get the first appearance of Carry On My Wayward Son at the end of this season. It's still so endlessly quotable. You have Dean talking about, I full-on Swayze that mother, when he's, you know, in that state of almost dead, and John Winchester and Sam are basically trying to figure out what the hell are we gonna do here. And so, yeah, that is after the car accident, which was our big cliffhanger at the end of season 1. And as many of you know, if you've watched this season before, no spoilers, but somebody disappears that you might have thought was going to disappear and be gone at the end of the first season. But yeah, they are gone very quickly at the end of episode 1, so that was tragic. But we go right back to stuff as it was in season 1, mostly, you know, jumping around, going to different towns, trying to thwart whether it's vampires or whether it's, you know, a ghostly presence of some sort. It's an interesting, you know, diversity, but I love how they expand on just the mythology of the show. There's more about the hunter culture. There's more about other people like, you know, Gordon, or, you know, they develop the Bobby character a whole lot more so, their father's friend. There's also the Roadhouse, where it becomes kind of like their base of operations in this second season. And Ellen and her daughter Jo, I thought were great additions, and Jo and Dean kind of have a little bit of a thing going on. She has one of the funniest quotes when she's first introduced, and she's like, yeah, most hunters that come in here think that they can get in my pants with a pizza, a six-pack, and the side one of Zeppelin 4. I was just like, damn, so funny. And that is just the type of wit and self-referential nature that just grows and becomes even better in this season. A couple episodes that I totally adore. I love the tall tales and the first appearance of the trickster, and just the unconventional nature of Sam telling a story versus Dean telling a story. And it's kind of silly, but it's from their perspective, and so just the way they envision the other sibling is just hilarious. And it's a very funny episode, along with the one I think was like shortly after it, Hollywood Babylon. they end up in Hollywood and they're on a film set, and Dean becomes acclimated very quickly. And so I guess I find myself really digging, I love the Monster of the Week stuff, the one where they're at the hotel and the sister of the aging grandmother is like a ghost that's been haunting and is this daughter's imaginary friend, the granddaughter's imaginary friend, I should say. There's a scene where Dean sits down and it is straight out of The Shining. That's another situation that I saw on screen and I just jumped up and cheered. I was so overjoyed. So the show is very self-aware. It's very referential. I mean, I love the Die Hard reference in Hollywood Babylon where Dean's talking about, come out to the coast, laughs, you know. So good, man. The show really knows its subject matter well, but it also knows how to just string in, for people like myself that really pay attention, all kinds of cool Easter eggs. I mean, they had a couple government agents that were named Dante and Landis. I mean, come on, man. Joe Dante, John Landis, so awesome. So that's something that this show just does fantastically. But they're also great about just building the scares and just keeping reference to older ones as well. Like, there's an episode called Crossroad Blues, which is all about Robert Johnson and selling your soul, and super awesome. And that ends up factoring in later in the season, as you'll eventually find out near the finale, which is really cool. But they also bring back that shapeshifter that I loved so much in the first season. Now, they don't forget about those old plot threads that you could potentially return to and tie up those loose ends, which I think is very cool. It shows that there is a, you know, ongoing continuity to everything, which is something that I find very impressive about the show as well. Even if at instances it is just a more broed out Buffy mixed with the X-Files, but I love it though, and it really is its own thing for melding these unique elements together and making them into something that is emotional and can be, you know, really heart-racing at times, but also fun. Always fun. One person I cannot forget to mention is Mr. Mullet Man Ash. That's right, Dr. Badass, as it says on his door. The doctor is in such a hilarious part of that episode. But yeah, man, he helps them out. He's much smarter than he appears, and he's got the business in the front and party in the back going on. So it's a pretty funny dichotomy, and he's a great addition. I wish that they had done more with him, unfortunately. But you know, his role was pretty small, but still really stuck with me, along with various other smaller characters that they brought back, including they introduced Henriksen, who's this FBI guy that, you know, I have a feeling from what some people have already spoiled for me that he's going to be coming back and showing his face once more. So yeah, they just really continue building this awesome supporting cast of characters and types of villains and stuff. Meg makes a brief reappearance. I mean, it's pretty cool. She's not in her original form though. She's in something different. So yeah, I mean, you've got Azazel, as they, you know, begin calling him, and that's who they're after this whole time. And yeah, the yellow-eyed demon. It's a very interesting pursuit, and it comes to a very killer conclusion with this Colt, which is this weapon that can basically kill anything that the boys have. And it's fascinating, and it's a hell of a season. I gotta say, compared to season 1, season 2 really made me love it as opposed to just enjoy it. And in closing, how can you ever go wrong with naming most of the episodes in the season after songs, man? I think there's a couple different Led Zeppelin songs, you know, What Is and What Should Never Be, which, damn, such a good episode. An alternate reality, almost like, what's the best way? It was almost like It's a Wonderful Life or It's a Wonderful Supernatural. You know, Dean sees what things could have been like if one parent survived and one did not. It's almost a role reversal, and it's very intriguing. But there's Hollywood Babylon and All Hell Breaks Loose, both Misfits songs. I mean, the list goes on, guys. It is a damn good episode. Folsom Prison Blues, that's a funny episode. So yeah, it's just a brilliant show that I feel is really finding its footing in this second season, and damn, I cannot wait. I'm about to start the third, and it's going to be a very interesting journey as I march my way towards June 3rd in our panel at the Phoenix Comic-Con. So make sure to get your tickets at PHOENIXComicon.com. That's where you can get either day passes for Friday to go to our panel, or you can also check out the entire weekend. That's a majorly discounted rate. So it's a great event. I've been going to it for the last 7 years, and it's always brilliant, always tons of fun. You can find me, Jaime En Fuego, on all social media sectors, talking the hottest entertainment with an edge: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, just at Jaime En Fuego. So until next time, and my third season coverage as we approach that panel, I extend a grande gracias once more. So hasta luego, sin amigos, but let's try to make it sooner rather than later. And until then, stay scared. And I'm gonna start season 3.